Stop everything you're doing and listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will change the way you deal with people forever. Right now, there are people in your life, friends, family, coworkers, even people you call close, who are secretly draining your energy. They smile in your face, but whisper poison behind your back. They manipulate, guilt, and provoke you in ways so subtle you hardly notice until it's too late. And the worst part? Most of us are giving them exactly what they want without even realizing it. Your attention, your focus, your emotional energy, they feed on it. Every second you argue, explain, or apologize unnecessarily, you're fueling their power over you. But here's the truth. Almost no one will ever tell you, you don't have to live like this. You can become untouchable. You can create a life where toxic people don't affect your mood, your confidence, or your peace. And the best part? It doesn't require confrontation. It doesn't require revenge. It doesn't require them to change. It requires only one thing from you. One choice. One decision that will make every toxic influence in your life irrelevant. Imagine waking up every morning with zero anxiety, zero drama, and zero interference from anyone who used to control you. Imagine a life where your energy is yours, fully protected, untouchable, unstoppable. If you think this is just another motivational speech, think again. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do to cut off toxicity forever, and you'll understand the mindset that will make it impossible for anyone to disturb your peace again. And once you apply this, you'll wonder why no one ever told you this before. Because this is the truth most people are too afraid to face. Stay with me, watch closely, and I promise your life will never be the same. Think about this for a moment. Every single day, every hour, every minute, you are giving away something incredibly precious, something most people don't even recognize they're handing out freely. I'm talking about your energy, your attention, your focus. These are not trivial things. They are the very currency of your life. And yet, so many of us spend them on people who do nothing but drain them, who twist them into guilt, fear, doubt, and anxiety. These are the toxic people, the ones who smile at your success but secretly hope for your failure, the ones who whisper in your ear just enough to shake your confidence, but never enough for you to realize what's happening. They don't come to destroy you in one big explosion. They come in slow, deliberate ways, chip by chip, moment by moment. And most of us, without realizing it, let them. We let them steal from us daily, and we wonder why our lives feel heavy, chaotic, or out of control. Here's the first uncomfortable truth you need to understand. Toxic people have no power over you other than what you give them. That is it. That is the rule. It's deceptively simple, but it's also revolutionary. Think about it. Every word you argue with, every attempt you make to justify yourself, every apology you offer when it wasn't even yours to give, you are handing over your power. You are literally fueling their influence in your life. And here's the kicker, they know it. That's why they persist. That's why they push. Because you allow it. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but I can't ignore them, their family, their coworkers. I can't just walk away. I hear you. I understand. Life doesn't always give us the freedom to vanish from everyone who is toxic. But here's the distinction most people miss. You don't need to remove them from your life to reclaim your energy. You need to stop reacting to them in ways that give them control. You need to decide with absolute clarity that no one will manipulate, guilt, or drain you without your consent. You need to draw the line not with aggression, not with retaliation, but with awareness and self-respect. When you truly internalize this, you will notice something incredible. You will start responding differently. You will stop arguing pointless battles. You will stop answering messages that were designed to unsettle you. You will stop caring about validation from people who don't deserve it. Let me be very clear. This is not passive. This is not ignoring to be mean. This is strategy. This is mastery over your own mind. Toxic people cannot exist in the presence of someone who refuses to feed them. They cannot harm someone who has made peace with boundaries. And boundaries here are not just rules. They are statements of value. This is my mind, this is my energy, this is my peace. You cannot take it without my permission. Say it silently, say it aloud, repeat it until it becomes unshakable, because the moment you internalize this, everything changes. The toxic person who once seemed so powerful suddenly becomes insignificant. The drama, the manipulation, the guilt trips, they lose their grip. Not because you confront them, not because you fight back, but because you are no longer available to be controlled. There's also a deeper psychological principle at play here, one that people rarely consider. Toxic people feed on reaction. They don't care about your words, they care about your emotional output. Anger, guilt, fear, anxiety, these are their fuel. The more you give them, the stronger they become. It's almost like a predator in the wild. The moment the prey stops running, stops panicking, stops giving fear, the predator loses interest. You do the same thing with toxic people. The second you stop feeding them with your emotional energy, they lose their power. And here's what most people fail to realize. It isn't just about shutting down someone else's control, it's about claiming your own freedom. Every time you choose not to respond, every time you choose to protect your peace, instead of defending your ego, you are training yourself to prioritize what matters most, your life, your mind, your energy. Let's be honest, most people spend their entire lives reacting, and that's why toxic people seem unstoppable. They argue with their boss when it's pointless. They beg for validation from friends who will never give it. They try to explain themselves to people who don't want to understand. And in that endless cycle, their energy is drained, their confidence diminishes, and they wonder why they feel powerless. The answer is always the same, because they gave it away. And the truth is, they can stop it at any moment. They can reclaim their energy immediately simply by refusing to hand it over again. And this is where the beauty of the principle lies. It is simple, but it is profound. It doesn't require confrontation. It doesn't require violence. It doesn't require hatred. All it requires is clarity, awareness, a refusal to participate in the toxicity. You see, when you stop reacting, the toxic person becomes powerless, but more importantly, you become free. Freedom is not an abstract concept. It's not something that exists only in books or motivational quotes. It is tangible, it is immediate, and it is accessible to anyone willing to claim it. And it begins with the decision to protect your energy above all else. Imagine a life where toxic people no longer disturb your mind. Imagine waking up every day without that heaviness in your chest, without the whispers of doubt or guilt clouding your thoughts. Imagine your focus, your creativity, your energy flowing uninterrupted like a river finally unblocked. This is not a fantasy. This is the reality of anyone who understands the fundamental truth. No one can control you without your consent. And when you grasp this, the impossible becomes inevitable. You are no longer at the mercy of anyone else's drama, their insecurities, their manipulations. You become the center of your own universe, and everything else orbits around that. So here is what I want you to remember and act on. The next time someone tries to drain you, to manipulate you, to make you doubt your worth, take a breath and do nothing. Stop reacting, stop defending, stop justifying. Simply refuse to give them your energy and watch what happens. Watch the power shift. Watch the toxicity fade. And in that moment, understand this: freedom is yours the second you decide it is. Peace is yours the second you claim it. Strength is yours the second you refuse to surrender it. Because here's the ultimate truth, and I want you to let it sink in. Your energy is sacred. It is your life. Guard it fiercely. Give it only to what deserves it. And the toxic people who once controlled you will find, to their shock and dismay, that you are untouchable. Now that we've understood the power of refusing to give our energy to toxic people, let's take this a step further, because stopping your reaction is only the beginning. The real transformation comes when you build a mindset so untouchable, so unshakable, that toxicity simply cannot penetrate it. This is not about walls or isolation. It's about creating a mental fortress that protects your inner world, your focus, your ambition, your peace. And it begins with awareness, awareness that your mind is yours, that your emotions are yours, that your life is yours to design, and that no one has a right to hijack it without your permission. Think about how many people spend their lives reacting to the world around them. Every insult, LT, every criticism, every minor inconvenience becomes a trigger. Their peace is conditional, dependent on the behavior, the mood, and the approval of others. And when you live like that, when your mental state is hostage to everyone else's chaos, you are vulnerable. Toxic people sense that vulnerability immediately, and they exploit it with subtle precision. But the moment you realize that your mindset is the ultimate defense, everything changes. The moment you recognize that no one can dictate your mental state without your consent, you step into a kind of invincibility. Building this untouchable mindset requires a shift in perception. Most people think power comes from controlling others, from influencing outcomes, from forcing the world to conform to their expectations. But true power, the kind that frees you from toxicity, comes from control over yourself. It comes from the ability to decide what matters to you, what deserves your attention, what deserves your emotion. It comes from discipline. The discipline to pause before reacting, the discipline to choose your response deliberately, the discipline to refuse to hand your energy away. And this discipline is not cold or robotic. It is intelligent, intuitive, and profoundly liberating. It allows you to engage with life fully but selectively. It allows you to respond to challenges and people without being dragged into their chaos. Consider the principle of boundaries. We often think of boundaries as rules we enforce externally, what we allow people to do to us, how we expect them to treat us. But true boundaries begin internally. They start in your mind, in your self-perception,